Initially, it just confused me, and I think things that confuse me, I get really excited about. Initially they pitched it to me and they said, "Oh, it's going to be an action Santa Claus or violent," and I was like, "I don't know, that doesn't make much sense." But then I talked to the director, who's this like Norwegian, like big into Christmas and reindeer and all these things, very excited. And David Leitch, who's a big action guy, done some incredible action movies that I've loved. And then I read the script and I was like, oh, so this has a big action movie component to it. It's got a lot of funny stuff as well. But underneath it is this beautiful, heartwarming story of this little girl whose family life is less, she's lacking a lot in her family life, and she needs to believe in Santa Claus. And then by the end of the movie, you believe that Santa's real, and with her, you have this cathartic experience. And I thought that was like quite thrilling, and I thought it would be a real big swing to get it right. I was like, I don't know if we can do this right because it's hard, but it was exciting to try, and I think the movie turned out pretty well. So I'm happy. We started out with at the beginning of the movie, like I guess the big question of the movie for me, starting to play this character, and I know it sounds a little silly to go this deep into it, but is like, who is this guy? Like, we all believe in this guy, and we all talk, or our kids do, and we lie to them and tell them he exists. But like, who is this guy? It's some guy in a red suit who comes into your house. He's known as Saint Nick. He's known as Santa Claus. But like, who is he? And so I think what we started with this, almost the 20s or 30s, the Coca-Cola company created Santa Claus, who was like a guy with glasses and a white beard and a jolly belly and a ho 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 laugh, and drank Coca-Cola and delivered presents to kids. And then if you go back, you start to see like there's Saint Nicholas, who is like the patron saint of lost souls or something, and Christian mythology. And then there's also, different cultures have different versions of this character. And so we wanted to explore like who this guy was, who he might have been. So we start off with him as this saccharine version of himself that has sort of, he's got the nice curly beard and the little glasses, and he sort of hates what he's become. He's become this sort of, this thing for greedy children to kind of consume like everything else in this world. And as he starts to investigate his life, his own unhappiness leads him back to what he was before and his sort of mythological origins. And this little girl sort of is in trouble and says to him, we don't need a big, fat, jolly guy who's going to give us sweets and presents this year. We need a guy who can save our life, my life. We need a protector. We need a champion. We need a hero. And so I think that enlivens him. And this cynicism sort of melts away, and we start to see that, oh, this guy had a purpose that was different than just delivering, nice sweets to little boys and girls. That he believed in naughty and nice as bigger ideas. And I think he wants to get back to that. And that's what gives him sort of renewed life. And so that whole arc was really fun, to have this dark guy who was trapped in a version of himself that the world thought he was. To have that guy explode because some young people say, we want a champion, was really fun. I mean, and that's the fun thing about it, is like we get to have a lot of fun with who is Santa Claus. Like, he's just some guy who delivers presents to kids, and we talk about him all the time at Christmas, but like, who really is he? And I think our film, as you say, goes back into the origins of like, he started out as being not the nicest guy in the world, like as being a different thing. And he sort of discovered this world that he became, but at his essence, his ideas of naughty and nice are different than the traditional Santa. It was good, She's wonderful in the movie. It's funny, though, we didn't really... Most of the movie exists on us on radio, So a lot of the times when I'm shooting, she works kid hours, so she can't be there and stuff. So the relationship that we had was almost, it was sort of brief. Like, I didn't really get to know her that well. But but she's so wonderful in the movie, and she's just such a pro that it comes off really great. But we were sort of compartmentalized for most of the movie. But and so I didn't really even know how it was going or how it was working. I would see some stuff here and there. I'd do some stuff, but then to see it put together, and when we finally got to shoot that last scene, it really felt special with her. She has a sort of clear innocence and a sweetness that just shines through, and she's just endlessly charismatic. So we were very lucky to have her in the movie.
And then, of course, I don't think the movie would work if we didn't have also a powerful villain. In this case, it's Scrooge, played by John Leguizamo, who's also great.
I love him. I just love him. He's someone who I'd known from New York. We both are New Yorkers, and I've always wanted to work with him. But as things go on, you think, oh, it'll never be right, blah, blah. And then this came about, and I was just he just elevates the movie in such a way. He's such a, legendary, iconic actor, and he elevates this whole bad force in the movie that needs to go against this guy. And he's just so, so wonderful. I can't say enough good things about John. It was brutal. I have to say, it is no joke what these stunt guys do. And I do my best to keep up with them. I trained for months with these guys doing jiu-jitsu and Greco-Roman wrestling. And, I do my best, but they really are the top of their game, this team. They did all the John Wick movies, and they do Nobody and a lot of these crazy, they did the new Matrix. I mean, they do a lot of these crazy, sophisticated action movies, and they really are incredible. And I tried to keep up as best I could, but it is hard. I was beat. I remember coming home every day, just if we'd wrap at 6 p.m., I'd come home, I'd be in bed at 6:15. I'd just be passed out, so tired, so sore. Again, fantastic, just so creative, spontaneous, really wanted to, do the story right. So we had a lot of guys working on the fight stuff, and he was really focused on the story and the arc and the relationships and the heart of the movie. And that's so great in an action movie, to have a director who's that attentive to those elements, And he's just a fun guy. On set, we were, it would be 20 below, and we'd all be kind of miserable and shivering and stuff. But he was he's such a little kid inside, and he's so into Christmas. I think it's this thing where he's from Norway, and he says there's reindeer all over Norway. I guess they even eat them. But he loves Christmas. And so there was such a joy that he brought to set every day. He was a pleasure to be around. I think he put together a really good movie. So, yeah, I'm really grateful that he was at the helm. Yes, there were a lot of days that were particularly silly. Yeah. It's such a roller coaster doing any film, because there's so many stages in the process. You start off with a thing that is maybe a script and a couple other actors and a director, and it's wildly unrealized. And then you get into the shooting of it, and it takes over your life, and you get into this bubble, and you start to think about how to put this thing together. And then you see it put together, and then you promote it, and then it comes out in the theaters and people see it. And the whole way through, this one has been quite special to me, because it feels like each building block, because to me it started from such an unstable premise. I was I don't know if this works, guys. Violent Santa sounds too weird for me. And then at each step of the process, it's gotten more and more joyful. And even this, sitting down and doing all these interviews, which can sometimes be very difficult, it's there feels like there's such love for the movie, and there's such a refreshing thing. It's not just another movie. It's a weird new thing. And so it's been very gratifying. Each stage in the process has felt like a staircase. up, which is not always the way these processes work. Sometimes the script is great, and you're like, oh no, where are we going? And then you come, but this one has been, it's built. So I'm so excited to have it open and to have people see this. And hopefully they'll have the same, and it's around Christmas, so hopefully it'll be the culmination of this whole Christmas spirit that we've been doing. It's been really, really nice. I never in a million years thought I would play Santa. Never in a million years was that on my radar. I've had Hamlet, King Lear, lots of different roles, but never Santa Claus. That was never up there. And then, but to see it all put together, there is one selfie that I took of myself in my trailer after I put the costume on, the little glasses and the beard. And I remember saying to the costumer, we put the makeup, everything on, I was like, can you guys just give me 5 minutes? And they were like, yeah, of course. And I had to go back into my trailer and just look in the mirror and just take a second. And I do remember looking in the mirror and spontaneously, just as I took this picture, giving a little like, oh, oh, oh. And there's something so wonderful about that. So it was quite, it was quite special to see it all come together. It's this crazy action movie. So if you like big action movies, it's a crazy action movie. But at its core, it really is a Christmas movie, and it will make you believe in Santa Claus. And it will make you believe that Santa Claus can also kick your ass if you're on the naughty list.
I was like, holy beep. I couldn't believe how violent, how funny, how outlandish it was. I mean, it was, how do they say, balls to the wall? Yeah, I mean, it was shocking. I was like, oh my God, this is what we needed. This is what you need to have in our modern times to cut through all the noise. A movie that thinks outside the box, that's not a remake, that's not another rehash of a pre-done movie, something new and original. Absolutely. It was a page turner. And not only that, I was laughing out loud. And I don't laugh out loud. If it ain't funny, I'm not laughing. And I was laughing out loud, knee slapping as I'm reading. People thought I was losing my mind. But it was that funny. And then I wanted all my friends to read it who are screenwriters because it was so good. It was that good. And then we got on set and it was even funnier. And you got all these great, great actors, Edie, Alex, David Harbour, and the brilliant thing about Tommy Wirkola is that he hired, my whole crew are stunt actors. So man, those fight sequences, that's them. That's not a stunt double because they are stunt actors. Dude, I worked with David Leitch in John Wick 1, and I had so much fun in my sequences. It was such a blast to work with him. So I knew I was in great hands. Yeah, that's what I liked about Scrooge. I felt like here's a great villain. You don't love him, but you can understand him, and that was what's important to me. That he was witty, smart, and not that you liked him. I'm not a corny actor. You don't have to like me, but you better damn understand me. And then that was for the director and the writer. That wasn't for the audience. Yeah, that was fun. I enjoyed that part a lot where the magic of Christmas is starting to infiltrate his crew, and they're starting to believe. I thought that was so fun to play against that, and I'm like, come on, guys. There's no such thing as Santa. What are you losing your mind? So that battle was so much fun for me. That dynamic between my crew who's starting to realize that Santa, that David Harbour is really Santa, that it's not just a costume. That was a fun dynamic. Oh yeah, man. No, I really enjoyed chewing up the scenery a little bit on this because it was allowable. To get a character that's really smart, really wound up, and the action sequences were incredible. I got to work with one of the great stunt coordinators, Jojo Eusebio, who rocked it with his crew of stunt. I rehearsed it for months with all these stunt actors, and it was such a blast, man. I mean, Tommy Wirkola and David Leitch and Kelly McCormick really put a lot of time to things. No, I mean, the most sought after roles in Hollywood are the villains. They're the most fun, the way you can really give it your maximum. But you do have to have restraint. That's where your skill set comes into play. You have to make sure that that it's believable. You have to be scared of me. And even if I blow it, you're not scared of me anymore. You don't respect me. You have to respect the villain. And that's the trick. Oh, he's so fun to work with, man. I mean, Tommy's such a lovely guy. He's very gentle, very respectful, loves actors. And he's a writer himself, so he really understands character arc, dynamics in scenes. You're working with a master craftsman, to tell you the truth. I mean, because I've never seen anybody be able to wrangle violence, gore, comedy, and emotion, together in one movie. That's what makes this movie unique, is those three ingredients brought together. And even though I listed four, it's really three. And you never will. Who can touch David Harbour? Come on. He brings such rage, such dysfunction, and still makes him lovable. Who can do that? Oh my God, I was looking forward to it so much, and it delivered even more than in my dream, wildest dreams. Those sequences were so fun because, he comes so prepared, and he's got such a depth in his acting. The rage he brings in, the humor, the pathos. It was incredible to watch, man. I was like, what? Oh my gosh, she brought equal amounts of fear. She was incredibly despicable. It was great. She's fearless, man. And that's what you needed with that character. Somebody who, pardon the expression, had balls. That relationship, I didn't really see that in the script. It was there, but it really popped when you saw it. She really brought it to life. I think she's the surprise star of the movie. I really feel like she really brought it to life and made you believe in Santa, made you love him. And it's the heart of the movie. It really is the engine of the movie. Oh, she's beautiful, man. She's so beautiful. She's so cute. And she's got a little snark to her this is the right ingredient for it, So it never goes into too cute or too corny, Everybody rocked their roles. It's a chef's kiss of a cast. And they were a blast to hang out with as well. But the ad-libs that Edie added and Alex, it was just a blast, man. I was laughing, and sometimes we would ruin takes because we were all laughing and cracking up, and we couldn't keep our face. Sometimes we would just like laugh until it was like, okay, guys, we got to get this done. We got to get serious. And then of course we would be like all over again. Yeah, the Jojo Eusebio is one of the great, I believe, one of the great stunt coordinators I ever worked with. And he's meticulous, and he loves long sequences, which a lot of directors aren't really a fan of that, but Tommy Wirkola and David Leitch are. Because David Leitch was a stunt coordinator to begin with, who did The Matrix, who did the action for 300, one of the brilliant stunt coordinators. So you got three masters of action and comedy and this type of movie. And so we rehearsed it. I did it for about a month, every day, learning a little piece of it by little piece of it, because it was about 50 moves, and I wasn't sure I could retain it all, and let alone execute. Just barely remembering was difficult, because it's a lot of moves. It's a long sequence, and so we went every day a little piece, and then all of a sudden I was building confidence. And I wanted to look like a real assassin, so that was even trickier. I didn't want to look amateur, like, oh, there's that actor trying to look like he can fight. I wanted to look like I really can fight, off camera and on camera. What can I say? It was minus 35 degrees below zero Fahrenheit, which is goddamn cold. That breath coming out of us, that's not CGI, that's actual cold. And there were times where I couldn't move my jaw. That first scene where I say, oh my God, I forgot what that line is in the trailer. Welcome to your worst Christmas ever. My mouth is so frozen in my jaw. I'm going, welcome to your worst. That's not me gritting my teeth. That's my jaw frozen. I have to agree with you. I've never seen a movie like this. I think that's what makes it unique and original, is this crazy tone that they've created, like mixing violence with jokes and then with so much heart, because this family that's dysfunctional and sick and twisted, but you love them and you want them to make it together by the end of the movie. You want them to live, and you want them to be together and love each other. And it really touches you. It really hits those Christmas beats. Yeah, no, I had a great time. I had a lot of little zinger jokes that I was very proud of, and the cast, Edie and Alex, everybody was adding a lot of great humor to it. And David Harbour, I mean, he delivers, man, like nobody. I mean, I think David Harbour's going to change Santa for everybody forever. For every other movie about Christmas, this is the bar they have to reach. Oh, I love Christmas, man. I mean, I know it's a bit of a commercial holiday, but at the same time, it's such a great excuse to be together with family, for me to see my whole entire family at once, and for us to joke and reminisce and celebrate the things that we love, which is, a lot of Latin culture. We dance, we put our music on, cumbia, salsa, merengue. We have our great dishes, lechon, pernil, maduros, all the things that we like in Caribbean culture. And, I just love a chance for my kids to be with my extended family, and for them to see, how beautiful we are as a family. Well, first of all, it's a great movie to see with everybody out in the theater, laughing your ass off, because I saw it with 4,000 people, the biggest audience I've ever been in a premiere, and they were yelling, hooting, hollering, jumping on their seats. This is going to happen to you as well when you see the movie. Just don't bring the grandma or the tiny kids. This is for the 13 and above crowd.